Welcome back, everyone. The reason I look dead inside is because I just got done watching A View to a Kill for the first time. Now I know why this movie wasn't really on Spike TV growing up, why I never saw it on any James Bond marathon. Up until this point, I don't think I'd ever found a James Bond movie that I actively, hated or really strongly disliked. Even Thunderball, I just thought the underwater stuff was boring, but when I just rewatched this last time, I was like, it's only for 20 minutes. I was like, it's actually not that bad of a film. A View to a Kill is awful. For many reasons. Let's get into it. Roger Moore's too old to be playing Bond. Everyone's talked about that before. Fine. Christopher Walken, who normally in anything he's in, he's entertaining. Even Batman Returns, which isn't a great movie, he's entertaining. I don't think he's all that entertaining in this movie. His best line is when he's like, the guy's like, so I'd be, he's like, yes, dead. Okay, I guess that's good. Mayday, people talk about Mayday. So I grew up playing the GoldenEye video game, and if you know, in that game, you can be some of the villains, and they have it's meant to be for iconic villains, but Baron Semity's in there from Live and Let Die, which he's not even the main villain, but I guess he's the most iconic from that movie. You got Odd Job's in there, which makes sense. Jaws is in there, which makes sense. And I guess they're just trying to find the most notable henchman, but Mayday, she's fine. She's really distinct as far as how she looks, but I kept expecting Mayday was going to be pretty badass, and I don't really feel like she was. The plot of this movie, it doesn't feel like a Bond film. It feels like something else. It feels like some terrible, I don't know, take over the world plot or something. They mixed 3 or 4 plots together. The Bond girl, Stacey Sutton or whatever, super forgettable. If that girl, all these other Bond girls, if I saw them in a crowd of women, or I don't even say women, just I saw them in a crowd, at a grocery store or something like that, I'd be like, you're the Bond girl, I know you. I feel like the chick that played Stacey Sutton, I could see her out, and I'm not saying she's not attractive, she's a good looking girl, but I'm saying it's just super organic, or generic and boring to me. Yeah, so I don't really have a whole lot of, I really don't have any positives for this movie. People talk about the soundtrack. The song A View to a Kill is pretty good, but that's about it. I was getting tired of them putting it in the movie, you just hear that View to a Kill theme, and I just don't feel like it fits as a Bond theme, in a movie. Casino Royale has a perfect one where, I feel like even when they're not doing the main theme song, when they play it throughout the movie, it works. This, I don't feel like works. None of the stunts, I was bored through the whole time. And normally, if you show me a really good action scene, that's fine, and I'll enjoy the Bond film. But, I didn't enjoy any of this stuff. I really didn't. The fire truck chase seemed like such a, well, we need another action scene. And I'm like, it's not realistic that he would flee. So it's more realistic that he would flee from the cops and steal a fire truck and be hanging on the edge, the ladder as it, goes back and forth. That's more likely to happen than him just saying, I'm with British Secret Service. They go, we don't believe you. And he's like, okay, you guys can arrest me, but you're going to be getting a phone call here pretty soon from my government that's going to tell you to let me go. I would have much rather watched that scene than watch that stupid fire truck chase. Zorin's, I think that's the guy's name, right? Max Zorin. His plot to, turn Silicon Valley, submerge it, and then I guess be the one responsible for all the microchips that are produced. I guess. I don't know. I wasn't super interested. I'd say maybe my favorite part of the whole movie is when they're up at the blimp and they're discussing the plan, and that one guy's like, nope, I'm out, and Mayday takes him over and presses the button and then hits the slide where the stairs go out and he slides out. That was probably my favorite scene. That's where I'm like, yeah, I like that. That feels like a Bond moment. But aside from that, no. The stuff about him being some former Nazi science project, of him being engineered and being super strong but super crazy, we don't really get anything with that, and if I was going with that role, I wouldn't have cast Christopher Walken. I would have cast somebody else. Dolph Lundgren is in this movie. He would have made for a better Bond villain, I feel like. But this was, I guess, shot right before Rocky IV, or maybe he was cast as Rocky IV, and then they're shooting this movie. They're like, hey, we want Dolph Lundgren in this movie. I have no idea what happened, but he's barely in it. He's in the background. But the KGB stuff felt tacked on. I don't know. I couldn't really... The reason I couldn't keep up with this movie is because I couldn't be in, I wasn't invested. I didn't really care what was going on. I just wanted it to end. So, overall, And I'm struggling really hard because I don't want to sell these movies, because now that I've sold Thunderball, I kind of want it back just for the fact of be like, I have the whole Bond collection, it's done. Because there's something in each of these movies that you can enjoy. But that being said, this is by far my least favorite. Like, it blows all the other ones out of the water, because even all the other ones have something that I can be like, I like that song, or I like that action sequence, or I like this acting role, or this part, or I like this location. I've heard other people talk about it. In theory, you would think this, when someone tells you this film takes place like at the Eiffel Tower in France and the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, you would think there's opportunity for awesome sequences, and there's really not. I don't mind like the little luncheon that he had like in the Eiffel Tower. That was cool, I guess, for a little while. But the dude that was doing the French accent, I think he's actually French, but they just made him sound goofy and stupid. I don't know, am I missing anything? The horse racing stuff at the beginning, I guess, was slightly interesting, that it was a different way to start a Bond film, but sooner, I just feel like we meandered there and it took too long. So yeah, I don't know. And then Roger Moore goes out with this movie, it just feels weird and like a dud. And there's people out there that actually really, really like this movie, and I don't get it. Like I said, I now understand why this one, out of all the other Bond films, I felt like I never saw anything on Spike or anything growing up of like, hey, this Bond film's coming on, watch it. Never heard anything. So if I have to give it a rating, okay, it is a James Bond film, so I'm not going to say it's a coaster. I will say don't pay for this movie. Don't put any money towards this movie. If you can get away with watching it for free, it could be an okay way to waste 2 hours by watching Roger Moore kind of do his own stunts, but not really do his own stunts. It's pretty bad. And just some of these actors, like the action. Someone wrote that there's going to be an action sequence where James Bond is at this chick's house, and dudes try to like get at her house, and James has like a rifle. Not even maybe it's a shotgun. I don't know, but he's just running around with this, and that's it. And that might be cool. Like Daniel Craig, I feel like could pull that off because he kind of does that in Skyfall. This just doesn't work for me. It's not exciting. It just feels like, are we watching some low budget? Like, because it felt really low budget, which is weird because you got a blimp, you got some crazy stuff in the plot of what you think would be expensive, and then like they shot at this nice ass mansion at the very beginning, the horse mansion, which is supposed to be Zorin's place. It's really nice, and I actually liked that setting. I did like that, but I feel like we get too much caught up in the plot and not enough like conversing with Zorin and James. So yeah, I would say do not pay for this. That's the rating that I give this movie. That's my second worst rating, and mainly the only reason I'm not giving it a coaster is because of how much respect I have for Roger Moore and the Bond series. That I don't think it's like I wouldn't say I hate this movie. That's probably the wrong thing to say. I don't like anything about it. Like, I wasn't like, please turn it off. Like, I resent it. But, yeah, didn't like it. So, that's it for my View to a Kill review. Like I said, this was the last one that I hadn't seen. And what a dud to end on. So, let me guys know what you think of A View to a Kill. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm now down to my last Bond film. And then I can be done and do my rankings. And I'm excited. And this one is one of my favorites, and I'm happy to go back to it. It's Live and Let Die. We finished with Live and Let Die. So I'm going to get off this, watch that movie, do the review for that one, and then tomorrow I will probably be doing my rankings. I will try to go a little... I would like to go at least like 3 minutes on each Bond film to truly get my opinion on it. But that's it for now. Have a good one, kids. Bye.